I'm lucky at number 1. Number 13 was all things bright and beautiful. It is bright and beautiful.
It is indeed.
This is the day that God has given us. Let us rejoice and be glad that we are in it. And it is a bright day. It's wonderful. It's even brighter because we have Reverend Anna Beveridge from the, she's getting embarrassed here, Universal Brotherhood. And we'd like to welcome all of you. We welcome the people online that are watching, and they watch through the week. We have a tremendous congregation that do watch us online every week. And if they can't make it on Sunday, they can look at it. And if you can't make it on Sunday one day, just go on to www.innergarden.com and you'll be able to look at the service and listen to Anna again through the week if you really enjoy what she says today. And so I would like to welcome you. Say, I love you. So does God. Give your neighbors a hug and welcome them.
Welcome. Yeah, hugs are good. I'm Amber. Chris? I'm Jenny. I'm Amber. Welcome. It's a good day. I didn't get one this morning.
Okay, and I'd just like you to stay standing for a few moments and join me for the opening prayer. Heavenly Father, we ask you to bless us as we gather here together today, and we thank you so much for this beautiful day. All things are bright and beautiful as we come into the beginning of a new week. We pray that you will allow us to let the energy of love flow through us so that each person that we meet throughout the week feels the warmth of the love as we go through our everyday workaday world. Amen. Please be seated. Well, we're really fortunate in this congregation because we have a tremendous amount of people who are volunteers that help us keep this church running. And I have to acknowledge that our coordinator for volunteers happens to be off ill today. There's a lot of our congregation, for whatever reason, have picked up that cold that's going around. And so we have Reverend Joyce Tarvin also off with a cold, and we say some prayers for her. And we also have Maureen Lum, who is our coordinator. And I'd like to thank Amber and Brenda and a few of the others that come from time to time to help us. And in our music ministry today, we have our wonderful pianist here, and we are so fortunate to have the musicians that come. So Celia Cullen, would you like to give her a hand? We have three wonderful pianists that rotate and help to keep our music going. I've often said to Celia, you know, it's okay a cappella as long as you have a good singer that leads you, but when I sing in the cracks, it doesn't help you guys much. So good thing that she's here to help us out.
Much easier.
Yeah, you do. We sing like a mini pearl. We also like to acknowledge that we have other ministers that join us from time to time, and I would like you to welcome one of them from First United Spiritualist Church, Heather Quinney. And she is here today to join us. And Heather and I were two of the ministers that were ordained together. And Jeannie, the gal spoke when she, a few weeks back, last week actually, was the other minister that was ordained with us at the same time. So it's kind of a nice feeling to have the wonderful people coming in here. We also would like you to join together now with song number 9, Leaning on the Everlasting Arms. Sounds like a heavenly choir from up here. And hopefully my cracky voice doesn't outdo it. When I listen to it sometimes online, it's really quite beautiful. It surprises me how well we do. Maybe that's the pianist. It's so good. And I'd like to ask you to give a hand to Anne Beveridge, Reverend Anne Beveridge, who's coming in from the Universal Church, and is going to give us her talk today.
The only problem with going without the mic is you have to really talk to that wall back there.
I can do that.
Good girl.
No problem. I can project my voice. My husband always says so.
Well, we can when we're a little bit annoyed.
We do things a little differently here. So we're going to but I do start with a reading. But during this talk, I will be talking and reading is from Quantum Success by Sandra Ann Taylor. It's a book that was given to me at Christmas, and it kind of speaks to me because it's wonderful. The scientists that say, researchers of quantum physics, say that they've discovered that everything is made up of vibrating strings of energy. What was once considered solid matter is really composed of pulsating energetic vibrations which human will and consciousness have influence over. So around us is this what they call the field. And these scientists, they say, they think they've discovered this because spiritualists have known about it for over 150 years. We know there's a field of energy and that we are connected, each one to one another. So the expression that it doesn't just rain on your neighbor is very, very poignant when you think about it, because it rains on you, it rains on everyone else as well. So this is what the connection in the quantum aspect is. What you do, what you put out there, comes back to you. It's very important then to put out good stuff. Don't you agree? Mm-hmm. So, as Barb said her prayer today, I thought, isn't Spirit wonderful? Because they know that the subject I am going to be talking about is the power of love, and Barb spoke on that in her prayer. So that's the way Spirit works. You'll find the songs fit in, all of that stuff. We don't have to really do anything. We just put it out there and it happens for us because of this field of energy that connects us all with one another. And you know that when you think of someone and the phone will ring, or you'll say, you'll phone somebody and they'll say, I was just thinking about you. Isn't this amazing? Oh, that's not just a coincidence, is it? It's that connection we have each with one another. So love is a very real power within both the universe and the individual. It's an energy that can be deeply felt, not just romantically, but in every way. It is strong, vibrating, creative force, and it moves freely and fluidly throughout the world. Just imagine it as waves of energy. When we align our own personal energy of love with this current, universal current, there's nothing that we cannot achieve. Nothing we cannot achieve. This vibration is the absence of hate and fear. The choice to experience, perceive, and promote love causes you to see the real value in your life and draws more worth back to you. Now when you think about that, so if you have your heart filled with love, you put it out and you're breathing it right back in. What does it do for you? It enhances your own self. If your heart is full with hate and fear, you breathe it out, put it out, and what happens? It comes back to you. And you feel all disconnected. You feel all terrible and fearful. And it doesn't help you or anyone else to be in that fearful, hateful, whatever it is situation. And we've all been there. Name me one person here who hasn't had fear and anger and all of that stuff happening to them. It's part of human nature to grow and learn and to get through these things and look back on them and realize how much easier and wonderful love can make it into your life. So every time you choose to approach anything with love, you stimulate the action of the laws of success. So let's look at how you can use this power to harness the force of each one. You with me? You okay with that? There's seven laws here. One is the law of manifestation. You hear a lot of Wayne Dyer and a number of other, Deepak Chopra, and all kinds of motivational speakers who will be talking about just this stuff. But so the law of manifestation is to establish a loving consciousness, step back, and choose a persistently peaceful and caring perception of yourself and others. Now you're going to be constantly challenged about this all the time. Even when you're out on the road and somebody's road raging at you, this is the challenge. The challenge to go inward and be peaceful during this time. Can you do that? It's very hard, I know. But this is what life is all about. You are about learning to love. You're about learning to love unconditionally and learning to be present in the moment and to bring peace within your heart and project it out around you. This stimulates the creation of a personal reality filled with joy. You can be joyful in this situation. In addition, when you're more aware of all forms of love in your life, your observation of it increases kind responses from the universe, manifesting abundantly wonderful experiences. Isn't that nice? How simple it is. You know? Second is the law of magnetism. Now, we all know what we call it. Ooh, boy, this person's got a lot of charisma, a lot of magnetism. Look at Derrick down there. He's one of these. He doesn't think so, but he is, isn't he? As Barb is. They're people that project that magnetism that people are drawn to. Love is the single most magnetic energy that you can project. Unfortunately, fear and hate can also be pretty attractive. In all the wrong ways. In the pursuit of success, these negative energies can never pull in anything pleasant or valuable. Can never pull in anything pleasant or valuable. And we all have been caught up in that. You know, one of the best rules that I've ever heard in my life is to use your word with integrity. My husband has been the greatest teacher for that. He never, ever, ever gossips. He's no fun at all. I've tried to get him to gossip. You know, and he said, well, I guess that's their business. And then hurting. Well, or he'll say, oh, that wasn't very nice. And he goes back to reading his newspaper. Drives me crazy. But I've learned and I respect him for it. And all the people that's ever worked with him have said that's the one thing they've always respected was his integrity. He never, ever backstabbed anybody. He never, ever has said a word against anybody. He gets a little irate over some of the judgments the courts rule out. That's the only thing I'll say. He's an ex-police officer of 40 years. But he has more integrity than anyone I know, and I respect that very much in him. Other things I get, but his integrity is number one, I tell you that. So when you are in that situation where someone comes up and they start telling you some gossipy things, and you are tempted to listen, can you just pull back and say, I guess that's their business? And you'll see, whoop, that drops right away, and pretty soon no one will tell you any gossip. But you'll be better off, won't you? Mm-hmm. You will be better off because you will be respected as a person that can be trusted. My mother had an expression that was, those who bring stories also take them. Think about that. Those who bring you stories also take them away. So when you're in that situation, don't feed it, is all I want to say. And just let love fill your heart and let it go out. And it tells us here in this book how to do that. Anybody here is a healer? You know how to do that. You know how to let love flood down through you and pass on to the person in front of you, and that's what spiritual healing is. It's the love from the universe. And we all need to learn to do that, each and every one of us. If you close your eyes and just let love flood your heart and let it flow out, you don't even need to do it yourself. You know, when a neighbor is really annoying, and his dog is barking all night long, or whatever, and is uncooperative, you don't need to work at loving him. All you have to do is let love flood through you, through your heart, from the universe, and send it out to him. It works every time. The power of positive thinking works. I had a neighbor who had a tree, long pine needles, drove me crazy. But up under my roof, we had to replace the roof, spread all over my car, all over my driveway, all of that stuff. And I cursed the tree and everything else. It didn't work. It was still there. It was still shedding its needles. Till I went to a course in positive thinking, and I came away and I started to tell the tree how much I loved it. So every day when I went out to work, I would say, "You're a beautiful tree. I love you, but it's time to go." This went on for 3 weeks. Coming out, going out, whatever I had a chance, I'd tell it how beautiful it was. But it was time. It's done its job. It's time to go. You know what happened? It went. It didn't reach up its little roots and walk away. Lightning hit that sucker. And I said, "Woo!" And my husband says, "Do not direct your attention onto me." The next is the law of pure desire. That kind of was the law of pure desire. A loving heart is full of hope and excitement. You know that excitement you feel? That hope, things are going to get better. Genuine affection for yourself ensures your belief in your future and your goal. Excuse me. When you choose to embrace your life right now, you are much more able to surrender your attachment to your goals. Now, I had to read that over a few times and to think about it. And I realized what their meaning is everyone has to have a goal. You have to have plans in place so that when you get to be an old guy like me, you can at least have enough money to pay for the hydro. You have to have those plans in place. You have to have goals in your life when you're on your pathway of a career. That is a good thing to have. But if you are only results-driven, goal-driven, focusing strictly on that and blind to everything else around you, you're not going to be happy. Because there's always another bigger, better thing that you'll be reaching for, and you'll be spending all your life reaching for that biggest house, the biggest car, and the most money in your bank. And that is unattainable because it keeps growing, the carrot keeps extending for you. So if that is your only focus in life, then you're not going to be happy with it. And you look around the world right now and you see many people who have it made in the shade as far as money is concerned and all of those things. And they're turning it around now and using their influence to help others. And it's wonderful to see. I think at the first time in the history of this world have people come together who have influence and who are trying to make a difference by helping. There's the Oprah Winfreys and the many, many others that are trying very hard to influence a better life for other people in this world. So the more that you choose to bring into your life and you surrender the attachment to your goals, the more happy you'll be. And the Buddhists, they call it non-attachment, you see. Love everything and attach yourself to nothing. And that's what they mean. Because at the end of your life, all those things will have to be left behind. And I know just recently we did a clearing of a house where someone was attached to his home, and he died very young, quite young, and had done so many things to make that home more beautiful. The stained glasses and windows that he'd gotten from old houses and that were torn down in Shaughnessy, and he put in, all of the heart and the love he put into it, and he died very quickly from leukemia as a young man. Didn't want to leave his home. And so, of course, eventually down the road, a few years later, when the wife had to sell the home because of whatever, and the new people that moved in were really bothered by this gentleman because he said still felt it was his house, and there's no time in the spirit world. 2 years is like moments. Just like when I go out in my garden, the whole day's gone by, or you sit in front of your computer. Forget the day, right? So It's the same thing. There's no real time in the spirit world. So he had to be loved and helped over and helped to leave. And this is part of a service that the spiritualist minister can do sometimes, is to go in and help this person move on. And immediately the house has become different. He wasn't really mean spirit, but he was blocking entrances into different, he just didn't know why they were there, because his wife had moved on. So this is what happens lots of times, is that if you have that attachment so much to your physical things, it can hold you back on a spiritual level. And it can keep you earthbound in that way as well. Because at the end of your life, when you're taking your last breath, are you going to say, oh, I had all these wonderful goals and I barreled right down and I didn't care who I stepped on, but I made it to the top of my field in this effort? Is that what's going to be meaningful? Or is it, I loved, I helped, I was kind? And if you even help one person, Silver Birch, our great teacher, Silver Birch, says, if you help one person, if you heal one person, your whole life has been justified. The next thing is called the law of paradoxical intent. How much time have I got? The law of paradoxical intent. Well, that's a big word, isn't it? Paradoxical intent. I'm going to get my dictionary out and start looking it up. Loving intentions are free from fear. Instead of worry, trust becomes your way of life and your predominant energy. You can bring caring intentions to all that you do, whether you are working, playing, eating, talking, thinking, or even just breathing. To do so, all you have to do, get this is what I want you to remember. Loving intentions into everything you say, do, or think, simply by saying the word love. Just say it. When you say the word love, don't you feel that wonderful feeling come through you? And you know, we don't say it enough, do we? We don't say it enough. I have really put love into my vocabulary a lot more than I ever did before as I've been journeying through my life and hopefully growing spiritually. I never hang up without telling someone I love them. It's kind of awkward when it's the plumber. Kind of shocks them too. Oh, I'm pretty sure my wife comes with me when I leave her house. The law of harmony. The key to harmony and the magic of synchronicity. I talked about synchronicity. Have you ever encountered, guys, that exciting when that happens? These seemingly connected events that keep occurring synchronicity in your life. This is the angel speaking to you. This is spirit working in your life. It's wonderful when that happens. When you look up and you're all upset about something and you look at a sign that says peace. Oh, remind you, I'm supposed to be peaceful. Okay. This is synchronicity, working all the time in your life. But you know, you have to release judgment and hostility. Judgment and hostility. Both towards yourself and others. I keep getting lessons. Do you? Lessons that put me in a position where I will judge a certain race, a certain birth, you know? And then someone else will come into my life of the same race, the same type of person, and they're absolutely the opposite. So here I've got this imbalance here, and I have to realize that I have nothing to do with what that person did or how he acts, whether he cheated me in business or whatever. I can only bring peace in my heart and send it out. That's all I can do. And eventually it'll change that person. I'm sure of it, just like my tree left. Being loving, the law of right action. This one I love. Bringing loving treatment to the world is the ultimate right action. The ultimate right action. You bring love to the world. The world responds and brings us back to you in the form of assistance, support, and blessings. When you are in a situation where you don't know what to do, ask yourself, how do I bring love to this experience? How do I bring love to this experience? And just do it. Just do it. Say the word love. You don't have to do anything else. You know, Zoroaster, 1,000 years before Jesus, is reported to have said, if you are unsure of whether an action is right or wrong, refrain from it. Isn't that a wonderful piece of advice? I use it a lot with the grandchildren. Does that action feel right or wrong? Yeah? Are you supposed to pick up your socks? There's so many ways in life that you can bring these lessons into you, to bring them around and help with you and all those you love. The right action. Dr. Laura gives advice and says, now go do the right thing. You ever listen to her? She always ends all pieces of advice and she said, Doc, go do the right thing. She'll say to somebody over and over again. And I think that's right. Go do the right thing. The law of right action. The law of expanding influence is number 7. Your intention to spread loving energy, this is great, expands your positive and peaceful life experience and that of everyone around you, in your family, business dealings, social life, community, your church, your choice to engage in caring thoughts and actions expands a peace in the world. It also brings greater serenity and prosperity back to you. Every successful person knows this. That's secret. We talked about, last year it was all the big thing, the secret. Everybody got the tape and this and that and went to talks about it. Simply means course of right action. Do the right thing. Positive thinking and love. So, how do you do that? Just be a few more minutes here. No matter what universal law you are working with, these are all those universal laws I was talking about, you simply cannot go wrong when you make the choice to spread love throughout your life. As always, the best place to start is with self. Without the power of self-love, you can only live in fear and trepidation, and nothing positive can be promoted in that state of mind. Do you believe that? The most important person in your life, is you. You wonderful, beautiful souls. You wonderful, beautiful, powerful beings of life. Why did you come here at this time of the earth plane? You had a choice of whether you should come here and be born with whom you were born. You really did. You went with your advisors and your spirit guides, and you were given the choices, many choices. But you chose to come here, in this beautiful place of Canada, where you've already won the lottery just by being here. Why? You don't have the challenges of being in Iraq. You don't have the challenges of being in Sudan. Why are you here? You can contribute to the light of the world. You're all light workers. You're beautiful souls that have volunteered to come here at this time. You have a duty. You have a duty to bring that light into the world. I sound like a preacher, don't I? But you can't do it without self-love. So I want you all to go home and look in the mirror, and maybe you're not as beautiful as you would like to be. It doesn't matter whether you need to lose a few pounds. It doesn't matter whether your teeth are Snow White. What matters is that beauty that's in your heart. You're a good person. You're a good soul. So one last thing here. This is the central energetic point, self-love. Is not arrogant or conceited. We used to say, oh, doesn't he love himself? Doesn't she think she's great? Well, what's wrong with that? Of course, if you are arrogant or conceited, that's wrong too. But if somebody feels good about themselves, that's a good thing. It's the starting point of your ability to value everything and everyone around you. To stimulate this personal source of power, look in the mirror and affirm that you love, value, and appreciate yourself. I love, value, and appreciate yourself. Stop looking for the faults. Start acknowledging your good qualities. You have many of them. You see, many people will leave thinking, oh, I did this and this and this and this. I didn't do this enough. Think of all the things you have done. And you've done so many. You as a gentleman have worked hard to support your family during the era when only the husbands worked, right? Just think of that, the sacrifices that were made by many, many gentlemen who went to work and jobs that were pretty drudgery sometimes to bring home their family, the sustenance to keep them going. And hoping that their children would have a better life. My parents did that, and I'm sure yours did. These are all part of contributing to your family, your society, and then the community in general. Reaching out with love, because that's the only answer. One more quote, and then I'll be quiet. Mother Teresa has been quoted as saying, "Not everyone is destined to do great things, but we all can do many small things with great results." Thank you.
Well, that was a wonderful talk. Make us all start taking some responsibility in our life and get happiness. That's great. Thank you, Anna. We're so fortunate we have such wonderful speakers that give their time and energy to come here and share with us. You know, of course, that we are a healing ministry and that we do have an area at the back there where if you do want some hands-on healing during the meditation, we do have a few healing facilitators that aren't off with cold today. That doesn't sound too great, does it? Our healing facilitators are all off with cold today. I guess maybe we've been taking it on and not getting it through. We don't want to give the colds away, though. So you may go to the back. There's also a bowl back there that if you want some healing for the facilitators all week long, we'll do healing prayers for the people that you put in the bowl. We can't possibly call out 400 or 500 names, but we certainly do concentrate on that bowl. God knows who's in there, so just put the first name, and God knows what healing is being started. We also like to advise everybody every day allow that healing to come through themselves, and we will do that during the healing. We also would like to ask everyone to remember that the power of intention, which Anna was talking about, is that when you have a thought and it's added to by another person, and another person, another person, another person, that energy multiplies 10 times each time. And so when you all do healing through yourself and then heal through the world, that gives that 10 times, 10 times, 10 times power. And that's why prayer chains work. Why, no matter what church you call, if you need help, they use prayer chain, and it does work. So everybody just sit back and relax. And work through it.
Comfortable position and take your thoughts inward and upward to a little spot in the universe where God resides and healing begins. Allow the energy to move through the tips of your toes, moving upwards, rolling around and round the body. Allow it to come up through the top of the head and flow over the body like a gentle summer rain. As you breathe in again, feel the energy bringing alive all the cells of the body that work together with all of the organs. And allow those organs to be like a wonderful symphony concert orchestra that play their instruments independently, but they play with such harmony and such rhythm that they are working for the whole beauty of the piece they are playing. And as you breathe the energy in and revitalize all of the energies in the body, in the cells, and the organs, know that you are doing that to bring healing to the whole. And as the energy comes in again through the tips of the toes, allow it to expand into the mind. Let the mind open and be receptive. Let the mind be positive and be healthy, so that it may touch the dreams, the ideas that God has to make you all that you can be. Allow those dreams, those thoughts, those energies to come through the mind to healthy growth, so that they will grow and produce the dream that God has for you. Breathing in again, allow yourself to come in touch with the Spirit, that part of yourself that is always perfect. And allow the Spirit to communicate to the mind and the body what it needs for this journey that it is having in this physical existence. And as you have healed your own self, body, mind, and spirit, be like a pebble in a great pond of energy, and allow your energy to move forward and ripple outward, and let it touch each member in the room. And joining together, allowing the energy to draw through everyone to facilitate the healing. Taking a deep breath now, think about outside of this room into the community of your family, the community around you, of your teachers and your leaders, and allow that energy to ripple out and touch all of them, so that they too may experience the wonderful healing, the wonderful peace. Allow that energy now to go forward into the world, and not only touch the world's leaders, but to touch the animals, the vegetation, the waters, the atmosphere, so that they may be healed. And let us be thankful to the animals and the vegetation and the minerals that give of themselves and serve us so greatly and feed us so well. Allow us now to reach out into the universe, into other parts of the universe that we are not familiar with, for many mansions in God's world that we are not aware of, every room and every mansion. But we send love and we send caring, for God promises us that love and healing is never ending. And all we need to do is ask, and the energy will follow the intention of the thought. and the healing will begin. Now, as we circle back to the seat of the soul, take a few moments just to sit quietly before you come back to your everyday, workaday world, to enjoy the tranquility and the peace of the healing area of your garden, the inner garden of healing. And know that you may visit here at any time. And God has promised the love and the healing is never ending. So open your hearts, your mind and your hand. God bless you, and He sends His angels to keep after you.
Thank you. We'd like to thank the healing facilitators and the spirit and the energies from God that is traveling through to help each person heal themselves through the meditation. I'd also like to do some announcements and ask a few questions. Do you have any birthdays here? Do you have a birthday?
My daughter.
Oh, you got it. And I have a great-grandson, my third great-grandchild. Birthday is tomorrow. So that will be nice to see on Friday. I was going to say how old. We'll just enjoy the birthday song here. Derrick, I don't know if you can ruffle in there, see if there's any that go on. If not, we'll have to get some more done up. And it's just a calendar that will keep you on track for the next couple of years, and also a little bit about the church and what our mission is here, the interdenominational spiritualist church. We basically embrace all people from all walks of life. And we know that all pathways that are spiritual all lead to God. And if you want to know what our principles are, they're in the back page of your songbook. It'll be easy for you. And we are now getting to announcement time. And next week, we're going to have Claudette go. We've had Claudette talk before. People really like to come out and see her. She comes out of Richmond. She is a Reiki master. Has done a lot of teaching, does a lot of teaching on meditation, and also a lot of good mediumship training. So she will be coming up here next week, and we'll enjoy having her again, as we've had Anna second time now, and you'll come back again.
Sure. Yeah.
We also have a Spring Bazaar that's been planned. I didn't get the information until yesterday, and we will be having it on the 17th of May. And this is going to be a fun time because, first of all, any crafters, any people that do any kind of artwork or whatever may rent a table and use that and present it at the fair. We're also going to have a little tea room at the back, and in the tea room there will be scones, English scones, and Beveridge cream and all that kind of stuff. And also we're going to have a couple of teacup readers that are going to do little mini readings for you as part for donation for the church. So that will be fun. We also are trying to look for some entertainment that is going to go on different periods of time all day long. And one of the things that we are talking of doing is music, mystic, and magic. I have a son who's a magician, and if he can get that day off of work, he promised me that he will practice out, because he hasn't done a lot of magic in the last couple of years, and he will come up and do some magic. So, great place to bring the children and see the magician kind of take money out of their ear or whatever he's going to do. I don't know what all he's going to do. So that will be fun. So we ask you to remember to put that on your calendar, 17th of May. It is a long weekend, but not everybody goes away, and it's something good to do for that long weekend. So that'll be good. If you look on the back of your printout, you will see the other people that are coming through the month. And we also would ask you to take that home so it reminds you. And then, this is the time that you contribute by giving offering to help support the work of this chapel. And we are going to sing number 21, Garden of Life. And Celia and I composed this together from spirit, didn't we?
Have you had a message before? No, you're okay. tells me he was a gardener. A gardener. Okay, just that could be further. That could be further. Doing something further than. Sometimes I hear things and it comes through a little differently. So I'm just going to ask him to clarify that. He says he grew a lot of things. He helped a lot of things grow. Would that make sense to you? A lot of people, he helped in the growth of a lot of people. And that way he was a gardener, is what he's trying to say. Okay, what's somebody else, please?
Somebody else.
Pardon?
Could be somebody else.
Yeah, okay. Heather, can I come to you? Does this make sense to you?
Well, it does.
Yeah.
I had a very old neighbor when I was a
Okay.
child.
Because first of all, I felt it was Heather. I really did. Sorry, sir. I'll see if I can get somebody in for you. Maybe an Ed, too. He says to take heart in that you know all the pathway that you have been on has been a learning situation and a learning curve. You know that. You understand that. You understand there's purpose in all things. And in your sorrow, there have been many angels around you. You felt the comfort of them all. And there's one gentleman here, he starts with an L. Leonard or something. Leon. You know Leon. Leon is here. He says to tell you he's taken charge of things, not to worry. He's taken charge of things. He says your husband is in his care. He doesn't really need that care much anymore, but he's been in his care. Okay? So now they're off on a journey, he said, a journey of service that you wouldn't believe. It is such a big, huge universe. But he deserved to have a rest. But now he's going to be, the two of them are off on a journey. And they've taken on quite a thing. They're going to be helping people cross over from these areas of war and desperation. And so they're going to be used by the Great Spirit for easing people over and helping them in adjusting into the life of the etheric. And he says that you have known that there would be this kind of service. Your husband is such a gentle soul. Is there a Janice or Janet here? I'm still with Heather. Is there a Janice or Janet that you can connect to, Heather, here? Yeah. This person is here. Is it related to your husband? A friend. Because he's saying, I'm being told that she has been going through a great period of disturbance at the time, a period of time, right? Do you understand that?
I could check on that.
Okay. She's like she's in a tunnel. And could do with some healing as well. Do with some friendship and some, friend. There's it's like there's a sudden snowstorm around her, and she needs some help. So, just to let you know that. And he's saying that and I know that you've told me this, that you've decided on this period of time now just to settle in quietly in communion and to heal and to do your own healing. And that is such a good choice for you at this time, to just be quiet for a while and to focus on yourself. Are you thinking of expanding in a new direction, a new career, or expanding your career, expanding somehow?
I keep getting told that.
Okay. Yeah, there is an expansion possibility for you. Work using all your therapeutic skills that you already have, and just expanding on that in a way that it will come up quite suddenly, and they're working on that because that will be good for you. You need a time for rest and for replenishing your soul. But by the time summer comes around, you'll be ready to go forward. And there will be an opportunity coming up. There's a great deal of love. Matter of fact, your husband was Edwin? Something? Edwin? Elwood. Because he's saying he's quite emotional as he comes through. And this makes it a little difficult, so he's a little further away. He's just sending it. And he wants to say that you made his life blissful. And he had no qualms about his life. Like he had no, he felt that the last part of his life was the best part of his life. And to thank you for that. And he'll always love you and always be with you. There's an energy of such love from him to you. What a nice soul. What a beautiful soul. And he says, congratulations on resisting a lot of the shopping. You're saying, no, I'm not doing it right now because, And so he said, that was very good. So lots of love to you. Is your mom also in spirit, please? Okay, who is it that's a lady that's come also for and giving you lots of support at this time? Okay, lots of love to you. Okay, Tim? Okay, to the gentleman, please. So I have a gentleman here for you, please. And I get Ed or Edwin, something like that, okay? You've accepted him. He's in the spirit world, right? It would help if you give me your voice, because voice is a vibration, and it connects it easier. So please just say yes or no.
Yes.
Thank you. And so he's coming today to give you a reminder that as a new year as an old year ends, a new year begins. So there's new beginning for you. I want to say he comes on a link of not a father, but in that generation, perhaps. Is he an uncle, please?
Father-in-law.
Father-in-law, okay, because I know he wasn't your father, but it was just one over. So he comes with a great deal of love for you and respect for you. He says that this is a way of putting things behind you now and moving forward into a new year. And I don't know what that means, but you probably do.
Yes.
Yeah, because 2007, 2006 were not your best years, but there's going to be a new beginning for you. Okay, you have to make it happen. That's the only thing. Changing your thoughts will change your life. So what hasn't been working for you before, change that and go into a new thought process. With the expression that Einstein has said, it's insanity to keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So you have to change your approach to things, your thoughts, and boy, you've got such a nice energy behind you right now. Can you feel it? Can you feel that energy? Because it's right there. You're just all lit up like a Christmas tree. So I want you to know that all of that happened is back there. Now is the time to go forward. Okay?
Yes.
Can you understand that? I don't know what he's talking about, so if you do, that's good.
Yes, I do.
And he passed from a terrible, he says, cancer condition. Okay, who was it that passed with the cancer condition?
My wife.
Your wife did?
Yes.
Because I hear that this is a terrible cancer condition. Okay. And this hasn't been that long. Correct? Yes?
Yes.
Yes. It has not been that long. Did her name start with a C, please?
S.
An S. Sound, yeah. Okay, I'm bringing you this lady. He has her by the hand. And he is... he's very gently guiding her. She is a little bit shy, I guess, reluctant to come forward. She says she doesn't know how to handle this. She can't believe this can happen. This is amazing, wonderful, that she can still see you and communicate with you through your thoughts. She says that it was hard for everybody when she had to go. And all the family have missed her terribly, especially at Christmas time. And she says, thank you for thinking about her, and thank you for making it a nice Christmas for the family anyway, you know. And that she knows it was difficult, but you got through it. And you will now move on. And she wants you to move on too. There's a new life happening for you in every way. And don't be afraid to step forward into that new life. Okay? That's all I can tell you, because that's what she's saying. There's a lot of love for you, and thank you very much for all the support and love all the time throughout all her illness. She said you were her rock. You were her rock. She told you that too, didn't she? You were her rock. You were what sustained her. So she wants to thank you. And she's she's going to get a new job, she's telling me. She's going to get a new job. She's going to be working with youngsters, babies. She always loved them here, and she's going to love them even more there. So just think of her as being very active and very happy in her new role on the etheric world. And lots of love to you. She loves you all very much. That, you know, love, that vibration, never dies. It never dies. It will always connect you heart to heart. And when you think of her, she says it feels like there's a breeze on her cheek and she's being kissed. So think of her lots, because she likes that. But let her go and move on with your life. Lots of love to you, okay? Thank you. Is that it? Hands up?
Yeah, one more.
Just very quickly, this young man there in the plaid jacket, plaid shirt. Do you know what I'm doing with mediumship?
Yep.
You understand that? Okay, so okay, if I come to you, do you have an uncle in spirit, please?
Yeah, I have Uncle Roy.
Pardon?
I have an Uncle Roy.
Okay, Uncle Roy, that's good. I've got an uncle. So he's come here today to just give you a lot of support in an area that you're thinking of going into, in an area of work, of career. You're thinking of a change, right?
Possibly.
A change. You are thinking of a change. Yeah, not possibly. You are. And you're either going to change or you're not. But it's a good time to make a change, to make a move. But keep your old contacts. He said, don't burn any bridges, is what he's saying. Don't burn any bridges. He was a gentleman that was bit of a risk taker. Yeah. And he said that you have that tendency, but he said don't do what he did. Don't use him as a role model for risking. But he said to tell you very quickly, I want to bring that to you, is to go for it, but don't burn your bridges. Okay, you understand that? Yeah, there's a way of doing it without making anybody mad at you. That's the way to go. Lots of love to all of you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. That was wonderful. And the last young man, I think, could very well be standing up here with us anytime now.
Oh, Peter.
Okay, he has quite a bit of the right kind of energy to draw that energy through him. Just a little added bit. Okay, and I would like you to join me for a closing prayer. Give another thank you for Celia and Anna, and then we'll do our closing prayer. Okay, Heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing us to gather week by week into this wonderful chapel, and that we are able to bring the love that Anna's talking about coming through each and every one of us, so that we can embrace and go forward and grow in your light. We ask that you allow us to take that light and that love to each person we meet throughout the week until we meet again next week. And we'll do 48 and join our little circle. Old man, get that energy going.